Thanks for downloading this episode from Teachers Talk Radio. You can find the full schedule and listen back to all our shows at ttradio.org. Enjoy the podcast.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Don't miss out. Level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles. Use the code JCTTR2425 for 20% off your order. Happy reading.
Meet USA Study, your one-stop platform for guiding students through their college application journey. Access up-to-date resources on universities, programs, scholarships, and application requirements, all in one place. Get easy-to-access tools, personalized timelines, expert tips, application templates, and exclusive webinars with admissions officers to help your student stand out. Visit usastudy.co.uk or call Phil at 0800 612 8271 because every student deserves the opportunity to shine with USA Study.
Hey education changemakers, ready for something special? It's Bet Show's 40th anniversary and we're throwing a free celebration just for you. Join us at London Excel from January 22nd to 24th to connect, learn and be inspired. Picture this, 300 plus speakers who truly get it, 600 cutting-edge edtech companies, and all the fresh ideas you need to make 2025 your best year yet. So why wait? Head to uk.betshow.com, grab your free ticket and come celebrate with your peers. Because this is for you. See you at Bet.
Warm welcome to everybody. In today's show, we will be discussing the impact of AI and other advanced technologies on teacher well-being. A warm welcome to everyone. My name is Clara. This is my first time hosting Teacher Talk Radio. I will be hosting all year long, every third Wednesday of the month. And the best way to start a new year is to start with well-being. I want to bid a warm welcome to our first guest. Our first guest is a mental and fitness coach, Julian Mental Sixpack. Julian, you and I have met in live action in Estonia, where you were working with us when we had a gathering of European diplomats and talking about AI, and you showed us some different ways to think about mental well-being. And you and I have also worked on exploring breathing exercises. And those are all things that we will talk about today. However, before we get started, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. This show today is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational. They are publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles. You can use the code JCTTR2425 for 20% off your order, and we will run that code for you during the show to ensure that you are able to sign up. In addition, we want to thank USA Study. Your students should study in the USA. I say that as an American. USA Study is your one-stop platform for guiding students through their college application journey. Access up-to-date resources on universities, programs, scholarship, and application requirements. It's all in one place. Get easy access to tools, personalized timelines, expert tips, application timelines, and exclusive webinars with admissions officers to help your students stand out. So visit usastudy.co.uk because every student deserves the opportunity to shine with USA Study. Julian, let's get to chatting. We're going to explore some of the challenges that educators face as they try to balance technology integration in the classroom with their own mental and physical health. And I know that you have a lot of experience around stress. And I want to start by talking about your experience about stress and technology. Earlier today, I was speaking with a colleague reminiscing about the good old days when they worked in the classroom. And some of the tough decisions of the day were, should I go to the restroom? Should I have my lunch? Or should I use the copy machine? So, in your experience, how has the integration of more advanced AI and technology into the classroom or into the workspace contributed to space among teachers and other professionals that you meet? And what are some of the more common stresses that you see in your work?
Mm-hmm. Good question. First of all, thanks for having me, Clara. It's a pleasure to be on this show, and I will do my utmost best to give you the best tools to, create the mental fitness you want. And regarding your question, so obviously the question is pretty much revolving around AI, artificial intelligence. But I wouldn't say we don't need to go that far, because emails are just enough to cause a lot of stress. So to be quite honest, I was thinking, did I ever had a teacher as a client, as a specific client? Obviously, I know teachers, but did I have one as a client? Not yet. But to be honest, the good news is teachers are also humans. So what goes for every other human when it comes to stress also is relevant for teachers. So what I would say as a general rule, technology, how we use it, doesn't really matter if it's email, Google, any kind of translation software, or ChatGPT, doesn't matter. It means acceleration. So acceleration, we can do more in less time. The general problem with that is that we forgot to adjust our working time. So the initial thought about technology making things automatic, so to say, the industrialization, internet, AI, the initial thought was to help humans doing work more efficiently. So basically, the first thought was, hey, we need to work less now, right? Well, yeah. That only works if you adapt the working hours. Because if you, let's say, just have a standard 8 hours working day or whatever, 7 hours, and you just add technology to that, then basically what happens if you don't reduce the working hours, you just work more. So it was like a double-edged sword, and we managed to cut ourselves pretty deeply. So the problem with technology, again, it's a means of acceleration. You can do more things in little time, more emails, more communication, more information. So it means more input and more output of the brain, just more. And it's like an engine. So back then you were driving with 100 miles per hour maximum speed, and now you're constantly driving with 200 miles per hour, and you forgot to take a timeout, which means literally, this is where burnout comes from. You just overuse your brain, period.
Yeah, exactly. I tend to agree with you. I think of things like cereal, for example. Going into the cereal aisle today is quite a bit different from when I was growing up, where we had two choices. I think cornflakes and oatmeal, but now you go down the aisle and there's anything you think of. And in the world of technology, it's a bit the same way. And we haven't really been focused very much on turning off the technology. And I know that that's one of the things that you have advocated for. I've seen you advocate for that online. You advocate for stepping away from technology. But for teachers, teachers are used to being always on. Many teachers are on basically 24/7. They get text, emails, they do digital gradings when everybody else is having a weekend. Teachers are still online working on technology. And
Yes.
when they do, they get notifications and things just keep coming in. How do you promote healthy boundaries? How can educators create healthy boundaries between their work and their personal time?
All right. So just a couple of ideas that might help you. The first one would be separate working areas from relaxation areas, because you want to have so-called safe spaces, literally your bedroom, for example, to really let your mind and body know, okay, this is where I can relax. This is where I don't have to work. Because obviously I'm also working mostly from my smartphone, which is great because you can work from everywhere, anytime. But that also means you are carrying your office literally in your pocket. This was not true 30 years ago. So your office where your office was, right? So you were literally entering a building, walking, right? You were walking into that building, and then you were sitting at the office desk, and then you were walking out again, and this doesn't happen anymore. So first thing, separate working areas from relaxation areas, even if it's in your home. So, okay, here at this desk, for example, I do the work, and this is the table for food, for lunch, for dinner, and I'm not working there. And especially when it comes to the bedroom, obviously. You don't want to take your colleagues or your students into your bed, do you? Second thing is, you heard me talking about walking. So move, because what stress literally means is that there are too many stress hormones still running around in your body. Adrenaline, cortisol, noradrenaline. And if you want to get rid of them, you need to literally move the body so the body can process those stress hormones and use the energy those stress hormones create for movement. The main problem is that the use of technology leads to a basic behavior of just staring at the screen all the time. So it means your body is in rest, but your mind is racing. And this creates too many stress hormones in the body, which will then have a physical effect on you, which we will find out later what those are. So separate working relaxation areas, move more, and obviously disconnect. Learn to disconnect from time to time to any sort of electronic devices. Unless you want to listen to some music, but don't stare at screens, because staring at screens also creates stress. I mean, like, unless you're using a yellow filter, this blue light of the screen creates, or let's say signals the brain, oh, it's daylight, we need to, give the body energy, make you wake up. So we push out cortisol into the body, another, again, the stress hormone. So those would be my first tips. Yeah.
Fantastic advice. I use some of that myself. I have my bedroom, for example, is a screen-free zone, no screens allowed. And I did that actually as a result of the fact that I experienced that I was having trouble sleeping about a year ago. And that is not something that I've ever had before. And I thought it was odd. And then I realized that it correlated perfectly with the time that my old-fashioned alarm clock had broken, and I started using my phone as my alarm clock. And suddenly I realized that I had students and colleagues in my bedroom, because I would turn off the alarm and then I would realize that I started checking notifications. And before I even got out of bed, I had communicated with lots of different people. And as well as total strangers that I was connecting with in social space, who had left me messages on my systems. And I realized that that might be what was interfering with my rest. So I got a new alarm clock, threw the phone back out of my bedroom, and voila, back to sleep. But it's harder said than done. And I know, and maybe we can skip a little bit to where this Julian mental six-pack comes from, because I suspect that your mother did not give you this last name when you were born. And I know that you have a personal experience with stress. You've shared with me, and I hope that you will share a bit with our audience, that your own background in a high pressure job has given you some insights to stress, where screens, among other things, were part of it, but there were other factors. Could you tell us a little bit more about your personal journey and how it shaped the way that you approach stress management today, and how you ended up with the name Julian Mental Six-Pack?
Yes. Okay. Then let me start from the beginning. So telling talking about myself, after school I studied business administration in Munich. Then I made my way into the automotive industry. I didn't care about cars, but somehow it attracted me. The appearance, the marketing, the brands. So I started to work for Audi in the area of marketing as a project manager, which was fine. But my very first exposure to, let's say, the corporate world, in that sense, I can remember I was still an intern at Audi. I've never worked in such a huge company before, so I had no idea how things are going there. But I remember one particular event where one team leader took me out, and I was at the Audi headquarters in Ingolstadt, like 1 hour north from Munich. And he took me through the streets, just showing me a little bit around and through Ingolstadt. And it was like, I think, a work day, Wednesday or whatever, 10 a.m. in the morning. And he was walking with me through the streets, and we were passing, it was summer, I guess, we were passing by a small beer garden. It's like an outdoor, area where you can drink and eat, obviously. So, and there were already people sitting during the week, right? During the week, having their beers and so on. And it were like older men. And he said like, "Oh, you see that over there, Julian? You see them?" So, yeah, sure. Thought, yeah, some old guys having some beers, right? They don't care much anymore. But it was not like happy drinking. It was like more or less, say, we're just sitting here having our beer because we don't know what else to do. And he said, well, that guy, he's this and that. He was manager of the technology development. This was the manager of blah, blah, production. This was the manager of so-and-so. So you had a lot of worn out ex-Audi managers sitting there, having their beers in the middle of the week, in the morning. So which means we're talking about alcoholism. So basically the message I took with me that day, I'd rather not be a manager because this might be my future. And my mind always revolves around those things. It's like, all right, you've worked your whole life for a big company like that, made your way up into management, and this is the end. So I guess it's not only the alcohol problem then that comes with that, but also family problems, right? And this was not very attractive to me. So this was my first exposure of how my life could end up if I get into management at Audi. So great experience. But also within Audi, I experienced a lot of stress, which was coming through emails. Yes, the speed, the intensity, the quantity, but obviously also it was definitely about the culture as well. So obviously you have friends and you have people you won't get along so well, but I really figured, wow, a lot of stress is caused by emails that are written in an aggressive way, but a subliminal aggressive way, passive aggressive, and that causes a lot of stress. It's like having a conflict, a real conflict, but you do not have the person in front of you. And the person does not really feel, let's say, the direct feedback you're getting. So what this whole technology also does to us, and you see that on social media, it alienates us from each other. So in a normal situation, when you sit face to face, you would behave a little bit better, I would say, because you don't want direct conflict, right? You try to avoid it. Obviously, there can always happen something, but you're not so far away from your potential enemy, right? And I figured, wow, technology literally alienates us from each other. People are saying things they wouldn't say if it would be one-on-one contact. So those were my first experiences with email cost, stress in big corporations. And then another story, my highlight project at Audi was being the head project manager for the social media communication at the Berlinale Audi Berlinale in Berlin. It's like a biggest film festival in Germany. Main sponsor is Audi, so it's the most important event of the whole year for the marketing branding department of Audi, because like the new cars are shown there, and if anything goes wrong, then not the whole world, but a big crowd sees it. So, and this was full stress. So many photographers, videographers, other project managers, social media influencers, so many people to manage. And I was kind of in the middle of this. I was in the communication knot, so to say. And the load of communication was intense. But already back then, it was 2017, already back then I knew how to take care of myself. So I was making sure, even though it was like a short compressed week with months of preparation, a short compressed, or even like a couple of days, I was preparing myself mentally. So I was going out every morning before I went to the office, so to say, in the hotel where we were based. I went out for a long walk, at least half an hour, 45 minutes, because I knew that I needed to connect to nature, and I knew that I needed to move in order to keep my head sane and working. And in the evening, I always did meditation back then, and I also went to the sauna while others went out and had nice parties and drinks. I skipped the parties, I skipped the drinks. Not every day, obviously, I also had a drink here and there, but I skipped most of the parties because I knew if I do that, I will regret it the next morning. So I need my full energy. That's why I used the mornings and the evenings for active recovery. So those were my professional experiences with stress. And then my personal life actually made me switch my career from a project manager to become a mental fitness trainer, how I call it today. And that experience was a very personal one, seeing my mother, who was a really, really hardworking, badass businesswoman, who was really successful running stores in Munich, fashion stores, shoe stores, seeing her going down as her businesses went down over a long period of time. So there was a depression that she carried within herself from her childhood on that came out as soon as her businesses went sideways. And the whole process of her getting actually really depressed and starting with burnout and so on, that took a decade or even more. So it was not like when you talk about depression, burnout, people always think, oh, that's nothing for me because I'm fit. It's not like that. It's not like, oh, you're good and then you have a burnout. It's a slow process that you do not even notice because it happens so slow that you do not see it, neither from the outside nor from the inside. At just one point, there's a snap. And her problem solution means like, how can I sleep better? How can I, get rid of my anxiety, my worries? Unfortunately, her solution was alcohol. And alcohol works perfectly for that, by the way, which is the reason why it's the most consumed and the most dangerous drug of our society. So when we talk about drugs, we need to consider alcohol the most important and biggest drug in our society. It works really well on the nervous system. It calms the whole nervous system and the body and the mind. But obviously, the source of the problems doesn't go away. So those were my personal experiences, and I had to witness my mother literally dying in front of my eyes slowly. And by 2017, she died from alcohol abuse. And obviously, even before, it was kind of shaking my whole view on my life as well, because everything I did so far, I had to question, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I having the right goals and targets? Because my values and my whole drive came from status, money, being successful. So success was kind of associated with status and money. And I had to question that all. And this is where my mental and, let's say, emotional and physical training journey started, actually. It was even before that, I left my corporate job in 2015. This is where my other career started. And this is my motivation why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Incredible story, and I'm so sorry for your loss. I know we've talked about it before. You've shared the story before, but it resonates with me because I know many teachers who are overwhelmed by stress. I think I cannot count on two hands the number of educators I know who take medication for high blood pressure, who are dealing with issues around depression. And I know that you've written online about some of the risks that are associated not just with stress, but also how, as you said, technology can contribute to that. And you've talked now about some of the physical effects of that addiction, physical addiction to drugs like alcohol or self-medication of other kinds, feelings of depression. I mentioned high blood pressure. Talk to me a little bit about the mental health consequences and the mental fitness part that you talk about. What are some of
Yes.
the health consequences that teachers can face if they don't manage their stress
Yeah.
and their tech-induced stress effectively?
So, yeah, basically, mental fitness means working on 3 areas, actually. I've worked with a lot of psychologists. We have a psychiatrist in our core team. So we implement basic psychology, basic behavioral therapy into our training. So what works in extreme cases works for everyone. The basic principle is that we are experiencing our whole life on 3 levels: what we think, what we feel, and what we do. And those are interrelated. So every thought leads to an emotion, leads to a behavior, so a reaction of the body, so to say. And that goes also the other way around. Meaning, when we talk about mental fitness, we mean actually all 3 areas: thoughts, emotions, and actions, behavior. So when you look at the mind, the brain as a tool, which it is, by the way, then this overusage of the brain causes, first of all, simply headache, because you're using the frontal cortex too much. So here you will feel a lot of pressure here, because the whole energy, the whole heat, so to say, is here. So whenever you feel a pressure here, headache here, you know what's going on. Then first indicators, physical indicators, are neck and back pain, because the stress hormones in the body cause the muscles to tensen up. So, which means you have a sitting position and writing your emails or looking into the phone. What you don't notice when you're stressed, your neck muscles, they will tense as well as your back muscles. So this is why neck, back pain is one of the first, and headache, one of the first indicators. So pain. What does pain to the body? You're feeling not well, right? You're feeling painful. What does that to your thinking? So already your body and the feeling, so the emotion you're having, already influences your thinking, because obviously you feel the pain, right? You're not feeling well, and this distracts you. This distracts your thinking. This makes foggy thoughts. You cannot focus anymore because everything hurts and there's an ache. You're having focus problems if you overuse the brain like a motor, so to say. You will have loss of memory, forgetfulness. You will experience what the Buddhists call monkey mind. So you're doing so many tasks that the mind is literally racing. You want to relax, but you cannot, because you have worked in such a speed that the mind is literally sprinting and you cannot stop it. So, as I said, not being able to make clear decisions anymore, not seeing clearly, not knowing what to focus on, foggy feelings. Those are the indicators for too many stress hormones in the body. And it goes beyond, obviously, sleeping problems, which lead then to more stress in the body, by the way, because you are lacking the most important regeneration phase and tool of our body, which is the sleep, the deep sleep, which then obviously at some point leads to a general feeling. So now we are at the feeling area of feeling overwhelmed, or it starts with nervousness. It starts already with nervousness, fatigue, and then you're feeling overwhelmed. You might feeling nervous or anxious. Even then, you're taking the road down. There's a model which is called Yerkes-Dodson law. Have you heard of it? Yerkes-Dodson law.
No.
It's a model designed by 2 psychologists in the beginning of the last century. They were researching on mental performance. So you can, and it's literally super easy to understand. So on the one side, you have the mental performance level. On the other side, you have the stress level. And how they are interrelated, super simple. It's an inverted U shape. So which means you're sitting on the couch, you're lying on the couch. There's absolutely no stress, right? And you're almost sleeping. And now Julian comes in and gives you a hard mathematical question. How fast do you think are you responding to that question? Will take a long time because like, what did you just say? Can you repeat that? So your brain and your body is not even ready to perform, which means a little bit of stress is great. So this is why we do a warm up before a real workout, because you want to get the blood flow up, because increased stress means increased heart rate, which means increased blood flow through the body, which means more oxygen saturation to the muscles and the brain, which leads to better performance. So you need a little bit of pressure, a little bit of challenge, a little bit of action to get into a peak performance state. But this will give you a feeling of flow. It feels good. As soon as you're feeling a fatigue, nervousness, anxiety, you've gone over the peak and now you're taking the road down. So as I said, fatigue, nervousness, first indicators. Then next indicators, anxiety, feeling of overwhelmed, and up to literally feeling frozen, burnout, and depression, and so on. So as soon as you realize that within your mind, life feels like a burden. You wake up and it's like, oh, I'm exhausted. It's like everything is too much. Then you need to take the road back. So you need to self-regulate. You need to reduce the stress hormones in your body. You can do that. Those are the indicators. And that's the model I always teach because it's easy to understand.
Let me ask you a question then, Julian, because it makes me think about something that you talked about also in your online work and also at the conference where I heard you speak in Estonia. You talked about the work that you've done with the military, and actually often educators will refer to their work a bit in military terms. It's work today was a battleground, or I was in the middle of it, or it was all boots in the classroom, or similar kind of narrative. And in fact, many educators experience real events that actually simulate a kind of awareness that you would have in high pressure, intense situations. It could be anything from a school lockdown to threats to the school, to fires, to fire drills, and so on. And I know that you've done some work with the military. So I want to ask you a little bit about leadership and the kind of role that leadership could play in preparing and supporting their teacher well-being, particularly when it comes to managing technology and preventing burnout, but also using some of the strategies that you have taught the military. Could you tell us a little bit about what you've done there and how teachers could take that back to school and use that in a positive way?
Yes. So I was working with the Estonian military, and basically I was joining a whole weekend of a course, a basic infantry course, which meant we were outside the whole weekend and doing drills, like literally digging foxholes, shooting drills, obviously with blankets, so not with live ammunition. And then literally some fighting drills, so cover and move and defending positions and so on. So there was stress involved, physical stress, bad sleep, to be honest, so lack of sleep. Obviously cold, it was cold, and the stress of the drills, obviously. And so you can always take those extreme examples, and what works for extreme cases and examples works for everyone. So the military is not the only area where you have high-performing people or where you have people that are super stressed. You can also take paramedics or teachers, doesn't really matter, or business CEOs. They're all having the same experience. Basically, when you are feeling under threat, and that can be literally everything, your nervous system is receiving too many informations at the same time, and maybe some of them are getting interpreted as real danger. So then the amygdala, the fear center of the brain, so to say, decides, okay, now we are in danger. So now we need extra energy to either fight or flight. So the fight or flight response is caused by the stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline. So what happens automatically, it doesn't really matter who you are. Your heart rate goes up, your breathing rate goes up, your mind starts to race, and you're getting into a tunnel vision. So you do not look left or right anymore. Your vision gets like that, and even your hearing, so your whole senses are reacting to this fight-flight mode.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Don't miss out. Level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles. Use the code JCTTR2425 for 20% off your order. Happy reading.
Meet USA Study, your one-stop platform for guiding students through their college application journey. Access up-to-date resources on universities, programs, scholarships, and application requirements, all in one place. Get easy-to-access tools, personalized timelines, expert tips, application templates, and exclusive webinars with admissions officers to help your student stand out. Visit usastudy.co.uk or call Phil at 0800 612 8271 because every student deserves the opportunity to shine with USA Study.
Hey education changemakers, ready for something special? It's Bet Show's 40th anniversary and we're throwing a free celebration just for you. Join us at London Excel from January 22nd to 24th to connect, learn and be inspired. Picture this, 300 plus speakers who truly get it, 600 cutting-edge edtech companies and all the fresh ideas you need to make 2025 your best year yet. So why wait? Head to uk.betshow.com, grab your free ticket and come celebrate with your peers. Because this is for you. See you at Bet.
Your hearing, interesting. You won't hear frequencies in the middle range anymore. So let's say when you've ever experienced that, someone's super stressed and you try to tell that person something, the person won't hear you anymore. It doesn't even respond because the hearing is then only focused on very high or very low noises. So this means the stress reaction of everybody, literally everybody, is the same. First rule is to actually know that you are tapping into fight-flight mode now and not letting this feeling of either anxiety or aggression or both take you over. So literally staying in control of your reactions, or better, your response to that situation, rather than being just reactive to the situation and being on autopilot. And this is what the military learns, or every other high performance team, doesn't really matter, paramedics, sports people, whoever learns that. So you have to stay in control of your response. How do you do that? Well, as I said, the autonomous nervous system, when it goes into fight-flight stress mode, accelerates the breathing. So if you want to reduce the stress response, you need to slow down the breathing. Basic rule. So you take the joystick into your hands of the nervous system and focus. The very, very first thing is what you do. You focus on your breathing because it automatically accelerates and you have to manually decelerate. And that's what I taught the team that I was working with, the military. I told them a very, very, very simple technique. It's called box breathing. It's specific. It was made actually from the US, or not invented, but let's say created for the US military to give soldiers a practical tool to literally de-stress and keep focus on the same time. So this is not used for falling asleep. The box breathing technique is literally used for keeping focus during intense stress and not losing your mind. This is what I was going through with them. Yeah.
Amazing. And we have a little surprise for the audience a little bit later in the show, where they will learn more about breathing and some practical steps that they can take. But let me ask you, Julian, if you were a teacher and you needed to create a sustainable work-life balance, what would you want from your school leadership? What would be what you would like to see in order to balance that pressure to stay connected, to stay with the technology, and then practical steps that school leaders can support for teachers in the work environment?
So what I would want from my leadership is basically what I would want from any sort of leadership, is first of all, awareness of this topic. Starts with the leader, obviously. If you're having a leader who doesn't really care, and I had those conversations with those type of leaders who are basically ego driven, and I call it ego driven because a lot of people, and old school leaders, I would say, have the illusion that you can push through everything. You just have to, whatever, man up, or you have to, don't be a, Weichei in Germany. I don't know how that word is called in English. So don't be a sissy.
Don't be weak, I guess.
Don't be weak. Exactly. Stay strong. Push through. Pushing through works until a certain time, until you burn out and it doesn't work anymore. So awareness is the first thing. Awareness of your mind is a tool, and you can overuse it. And when you will overuse it, you will most likely get sick and burn out. And this will affect the whole team, by the way. This will affect the whole school. This will cause even more stress also to you as a leader, because now you need to look for somebody else to do the job, right? And first, it starts with awareness. Okay. Second, with knowledge, because it has nothing to do with spirituality. It has nothing to do with, do you like talking about mental fitness or mental health? Are you interested in a topic? It's basic physiology and psychology, the mixture of both. How does the body work? How does the mind work? So I would say, if you call yourself a teacher and you have no idea about how your own system works, then you do not deserve the name. Period. You do not deserve the name, because what are you teaching? You do not even know the basics of how the human body and the mind works. So what's the point, So literally, I expect knowledge from a teacher, knowledge about the body and the mind, basic knowledge, you don't have to study psychology, it's not necessary. And then obviously, as a third one, so now you have the awareness, the knowledge. Now you need to check in with the team. So I expect at least weekly check-ins with the team. This is what I do with my team each time we meet. 3 questions. So everybody, how are you doing? How high or low is your stress level? Rate yourself from 0 to 10. Write in the chat. Then I see everything. 2, 10. What's going on over there? 6. Okay, whatever. All right, something's happening over there. There's someone with a stress level of 10. Okay, next question. Energy level. How high or low is your energy level today? From 0 to 10. Okay, rate yourself. There's a 7. All right, solid 8. Okay, here's a 2. So maybe energy levels 2. All right, let's ask what's going on there. Last question. How high or low is your motivation level from 0 to 10? You have 10 people in your team and the average is motivation level 2. Maybe you should ask what's going on. So only by those 3 check-in questions, you can identify serious problems before they even get big, because you just know how everybody's doing. So those are the most simplistic things that I can recommend immediately. And if you do not know, then let's say everybody's stressed out, no energy at all, no motivation at all. If you do not have any clue how to deal with that, how to reduce stress, well, then you can come to someone like me or any other mental fitness trainer, and just ask to train them, because this is why I call it mental fitness. It is literally giving space, room, and time, energy, and exercise to reduce stress, because that's why I'm talking. It's active recovery. You have to do something actively. It doesn't work by, okay, I'm just sitting here and watching Netflix or watching social media. That's not relaxation. That's putting even more stress into your system, because you're not switching off. So the easiest practice that I promote is breathwork. Everybody can do it. That's why I promote it. That's the first things I would expect from my leadership. Yeah.
Amazing. So you sound like a teacher there, Julian. Some talk, high expectations, and wrapped in empathy. And I like your suggestion of the stress and the motivational check-in, something that teachers often do in the classroom with their students, because if students haven't had breakfast, don't feel motivated, have high levels of stress, they cannot learn. And it seems logical that the same would be the case for teachers. They cannot teach if they're overwhelmed with stress or not feeling any motivation. So I have one more question for you, and then we will reveal our little surprise for the teachers. And my last question is for you to tell us a little bit about a success stories. I know you have a lot of them, but I thought maybe you could share a story of a client that you've worked with who's been completely overwhelmed by stress, perhaps also because of their tech use. And so how did the technology contribute to stress, reduce the stress, and what changes did your client have to make in order to reduce the levels of stress that they were feeling?
Yes. Okay, there comes one example to my mind. A entrepreneur from Munich who was close to a burnout, as he said to me, and he ended up in one of my seminars, which was a 2 hours seminar on breathwork, how to reduce stress with breathwork. And obviously he was attending live at that moment, so we literally trained together. And only that tool gave him a lot of inner peace. So he was actually having a tool at hand that he could use every day to reduce stress. But not only that, so to also give technology credit. So it's like always, technology and the brain is like a sword or like a knife. A knife can be used, if it's used properly, to cut some nice food. You can also use it to stab yourself or someone else and hurt yourself a lot. So basically, that goes for every tool, right? So you can use technology in a way that actually helps to reduce stress, and that's what I did with him. So I recorded him an audio file that he could use every day. I think it was 15 minutes. I recorded a couple of those, one for 7 minutes, one for 15 minutes. And he was listening to that every morning and every night to wake up with a clear mind, focused, and to sleep better. And this was significantly reducing his stress levels so that he really said it was a game changer for him. Game changer because he didn't feel overwhelmed anymore. He was still having the same workload, obviously, and was obviously still running the businesses, right? But he realized that he actively needs time to recover his mind, actively take time for it. And it was not a lot of time, you know. And he was like, the success story doesn't end there. He was actually inviting his whole family, which was like a family of 10, last Christmas, to a breath workout with me. We did a 90 minutes online session. They were all together during Christmas in a room, and I gave them a session of so-called holotropic breath work, which is a really intense way of, let's say, getting into some kind of psychedelic state, high on your own breath, so to say, which is really, really good for releasing any emotional blockages and visualizing, falling into a deep sleep rest kind of state, to really let go of the past, so to say. So, and it was a full success. People loved it. It was children, grandma, and the whole other family crowd. So that's a real success story for me. And as he said, he was close to a burnout, and we prevented that.
Amazing. I'm very happy to hear that, especially in light of you telling us, and I think all educators, all teachers know this from own experience, just how dangerous it is to experience stress. And as you said, often we don't know that it's happening until we're well into it, or until we have the burnout. Julie and I want to get ready to give our viewers our little present. But before we do so, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors who are making these conversations and this radio show possible. This show tonight is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, publisher of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. So level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles. You can use the code JCTR TTR2425 for 20% off your order. Our sponsorship is also include USA Study. Your students could study in the USA. USA Study is your one-stop platform for guiding students through their college application journey. Access to up-to-date resources on universities, programs, scholarship, and application requirements are all in one place. Get easy access to tools, personalized timelines, expert tips, application templates, and exclusive webinars with admissions officers to help your students stand out. Visit usastudy.co.uk because every student deserves the opportunity to shine with USA Study. And finally, teachers, join the Teacher Talk Radio team in Manchester on Saturday, the 1st of March, 2025. Happy New Year's for Teacher Talk Connect. It's our biggest free event ever. Hear from main stage speakers, including Lee Parkinson, Mr. P, Kate Jones, and Vic Goddard. Attend subject-specific CPD sessions and experience amazing network opportunities too. Tickets are free for teachers and leaders. Visit ttradio.org to find out more and get your free ticket today. Thank you, sponsors. And Julian, back to you because you are going to guide the audience through a quick and effective breathing exercise to help reduce stress. You taught this to me. I have used it quite a few times since I tried it the first time. And I remember my reaction after my first breathing exercise. I felt incredibly relaxed. So here comes a gift. But if you are driving a car, please pull to the side of the road. Julian, I will let you take us through, and I'm going to turn off my mic because I'm going to breathe along with you.
Awesome. Just one question. How much time do we have for that?
We have about somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes,
okay.
but
Wow.
no need to stress. If you can do it in 10 minutes, great. But if you need to go longer, that's okay as well.
Oh, perfect. Good. Then I'm going to share 2 exercises today with you. The first one, as I told before, is the box breathing, which you can use during the day. So when you are in class or when you cannot sit down and relax or take a nap or whatever. So you're in the middle, you're in the heat, and you want to stay calm. So this obviously means you keep your eyes open and still you want to breathe in through the nose. If it's possible, if you do not have a blocked nose, always breathe in through the nose. And you want to breathe in deep into the room of your belly because this is where the receptors of the relax system, parasympathetic nervous systems are. So you want to use your diaphragm. Literally, when you breathe in, your belly goes up. And when you breathe out, you can breathe out either through the nose or the mouth. Then the belly drops again. So it's called box breathing because you imagine a box in front of your eyes and you count 4 seconds for the inhale. Then you hold the breath for 4 seconds. You count 4 seconds for the exhale and you hold again for 4 seconds. So you attach your mind to the counting. You imagine, you visualize the box and the numbers or one of those. And you literally attach your mind to it and you breathe like that. Let's do it together for a couple of times. So we're going to start with the inhalation through the nose, deep into the room of the belly in 3, 2, 1. And you inhale. 2, 3, 4. And you hold. 2, 3, 4. And you exhale. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. And again, inhale. Hold. And exhale. Hold. Once more. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. And hold. 2 more times. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. And exhale. And hold. Last time. We inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. And breathe naturally. So I already feel it. I don't know about you, Clara. So that's the most simplistic technique you can do every day, whenever you need it, even in class. Next one, more effective for nervous system relaxation. So let's say if you really want to unwind in the after lunch break, during the lunch break, when you're done with work, when you want to go to sleep, we call it wave breathing. So you imagine in front of your inner eye a wave that is going through your body with the breath. So we use both belly and chest breathing. And we're gonna inhale same way for 4 seconds, but this time we do not hold the breath. We inhale and we immediately exhale afterwards. And you want to align the time of the inhalation with the exhalation. The slower you do that, the more you will relax your nervous system. The faster you do that, the more energy you will get. So I make an extreme example. You inhale for 6, exhale for 6 seconds. This will put you to sleep. If you inhale, let's say for 2 seconds or 1 second and breathe out for 1 or 2, then this will cause stress response in your body. This actually gives you energy. So it's about the speed here. Okay, but now we want to use it for relaxation. So we're going to breathe in and breathe out slowly. And also as an add-on, you're going to close your eyes, because as soon as you close your eyes, your brain waves switch into alpha mode, which is the relaxation mode, which is also the brain state in which new synapses are built. So if you ever want to be creative, if you want to be innovative, if you want to have clear creative thoughts, close your eyes and do this breathing technique and see what happens. Good. Close your eyes now with me. Focus only on my voice and the breathing, and we're going to start breathing through the nose into the room of the belly and also filling up our chest with the same breath, and then exhaling and letting go. And with the exhalation, we really relax all of our muscles and let our bodies sink into the surface wherever we are sitting on. So start with the inhalation with me in 3, 2, 1, and inhale. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 2, 3, 4. Deep in. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. Deep in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. Deep inhale. And exhale, let go. Deep inhale. And exhale. Deep inhale. And exhale. Deep inhale. And exhale, let your body sink. Deep inhale, imagine a wave going through your body. And exhale, let go. Deep inhale. The wave flows through the body, and exhale, the wave flows out of the body. Deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale, imagine you're lying on the beach or sitting. Exhale, you're watching the waves coming in and out the shore. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Exhale, let your body drop. Relax all the muscles. Inhale, charge energy. Exhale, let go of pressure. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, fill your belly and your chest. And exhale, let go. 5 more times. Deep inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. 3 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Deep inhale. And exhale. And deep inhale. And now exhale fully and hold your breath. Hold your breath after the exhalation for 15 seconds. Five, 4. Take a deep breath in and hold again for 15 seconds. Hold. And now when you breathe out, do it very slowly through the mouth and imagine the warmth spreading through your whole body, exhaling. And now inhale again with me. And exhale. Deep inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And in. And out. Imagine the waves going slowly in and out. And in. And out. And in. And out. 3 more. Deep in. And out. Deep in. And out. Deep in. And out. And the last one. Deep in. Exhale fully and hold your breath. After the exhalation, hold your breath for 20 seconds. And take a deep breath in and hold for 15 seconds. Imagine the waves, the ocean, the beach. And when you exhale slowly now, let your whole body and mind dive into that space. Exhale. Keep your eyes closed, breathe naturally. Let your breath find its own rhythm. And now turn your focus into your body. Feel your body from within. How would you describe that feeling? Ask yourself. And imagine sitting there on the beach, taking a look around and enjoying this moment of inner peace and silence. And be thankful because you're breathing, you're alive, and you now learned a tool that can give you inner peace whenever you need it. So take a last deep breath in, smell the air of the ocean. Breathe out. Now rub your hands into each other, with each other, to create some heat in the inside of your palms. Really feel the warmth for 5 more seconds. Really heat up. And now put your hands on your face and feel the energy flowing between hands and face. And now start using your fingertips and give your forehead a little massage. Rub all the tiny muscles. Rub over your eyes and your cheeks, your chin, all of your face. Relax all the small muscles. And now stretch yourself out. Stretch your body, flex your muscles in your whole body, and imagine you just woke up from a really good dream and you're on the beach of Jamaica or in your office. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Julian. I hope all of our listeners enjoyed it. I myself feel very relaxed. I wish I was in Jamaica. I certainly went to the beach in my mind. And thank you for your kind advice and for teaching all of our listeners these incredible tips. I know that listeners can find you online by searching for Julian Mental Six Pack. You're on
Exactly.
LinkedIn and on other social media where you share a lot of your knowledge. And I want to thank our listeners for tuning in. We will be sharing this on the podcast. So if you tuned in the middle of this breath work, wondering what are they doing, you can hear the whole show on our podcast. We will be uploading this soon. Julian, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I wonder if you have any last final advice or words you want to share with our teachers tonight before we end the show.
Yes. Prioritize yourself always. So that's a little Buddhist philosophy here. Many of us, let's say the number one excuse why not to take care of yourself that I hear mostly is I have no time. And no time means no priority, which translates to if you do not have time to care about yourself, you are not a priority in your life. That's the truth. So I advocate for making yourself priority number one. It doesn't really matter what happens in your life, because without your health, you won't have a life. And without your life, you won't have a job, you won't have a family, you won't have friends. So without your health, everything else is worthless. So that's why I'm saying treat mental fitness, like active relaxation, the same way you treat fitness. Do it in order to stay top of shape and have a life full of inner peace, power, and courage.
Thank you so much, Julian. That was a great advice. I really appreciate it. And I will remember this, to treat my mental health fitness the same way that I treat my physical fitness. Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. I really appreciate it. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. This was the first show I get to host this year, which is why I'm a little giddy. This year, I will be hosting one show a month. The theme will always be connected to technology, to artificial intelligence, but we wanted to start the year with priority well-being. And I look forward to meeting you next month for our next show. Take care, everyone, until we meet again.
You've been listening to Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live and listen back at ttradio.org. We look forward to hearing from you next time on Teachers Talk Radio.